Alright, what's going on today, YouTube? Welcome back to your favorite cyclist YouTube channel. This week, we're talking about tire inserts and whether they're actually worth it for you. But before we get into today's video, if you are new to my channel, make sure you head down below, hit that subscribe button for me. If you already are subscribed, make sure you hit that bell icon right next to that. That way you get notified every time I upload. That way you don't miss any awesome cycling content on this channel. So like I said, today we're talking about tubeless tire inserts and what they are and if they're actually something you need for your bike or not. So what we have installed, we have the Tannus Tubeless Pros. These are installed, I have a front and a rear in the Superfly, as well as I just installed a rear into the Poseidon Norton. And what a tubeless insert essentially does is it goes inside your tubeless tire, makes sense, right? And it pretty much gives you extra support in the sidewalls, as well as gives you kind of a ride flat, I guess you could call it, ride flat insert in there. So that if you were to get like a flat tire on the trail, you could essentially use this to ride your way off the trail pretty easily. As well as that, it also gives you rim protection. It also gives you a cushion between the tire and the rim, gives you something in there so if you were to smack something at low pressure, like a rock or a curb or something like that, it's gonna help protect your rim from being damaged. Pretty much the biggest thing I'd say is gonna be that one right there. So I've been running the Tannus Tubeless Pros in the Superfly for about a month and a half, 2 months. I was a pretty good mountain bike trails and we've been testing out to see if it's something you actually need. Now coming from me, I have never run any tubeless inserts before these Tannus ones. Never run them at all. And so I was kind of going to this brand new. And as a lot of you guys have heard and you hear from other people is, oh, you need inserts in your tire, you need inserts this, you don't need inserts. And it's almost as conflicted as tubeless tires in the first place on whether you need inserts in your tires or not, and whether they make a big difference or whether they're kind of just wasted weight on your bike or whatever they may be. So I met with Tannus at Sea Otter and they said, hey, we want to give you some of these so you can try them out and you can tell people what you think about them. I can pretty much give the most honest review I can because I've never tried them before. So I'm coming from someone who's never done tubeless inserts to riding them both in the front and the rear of my bike. So we'll start off with the install process on these. So obviously I did a video a little bit ago installing these in the Superfly. And like I said, these Tannus Tubeless Pros, they're not the most complicated to install. They're actually pretty simple. And I would say the more you do them, the easier they are. After doing each of these tires probably twice and then doing my fifth one, installing the rear on the Poseidon Norton, the fifth one was easy. They was super simple versus the first ones that kind of made me feel like I was stupid. That it took me so long to get one of those on this bike. But the more you do them, the easier they are, and they're really not that difficult to install as much as I thought they would be. And as much as I had heard that tubeless sensors suck to install, haven't had that problem. They really work, it was kind of difficult the first time just because I'd never done anything like it before. But after that first time, really wasn't that bad. It really something that's pretty simple to do. Now I can say getting that tire off is definitely a little more difficult now those inserts are in there. Because of the way they're designed, they actually fit into the rim channel. And because they're there, and they're actually pretty close on those, that's pretty much the minimum width wheel you can fit on those. And because they're so tight in there, it's very hard to get your tire lever in to pop the bead off the tire. It's doable, but it's definitely a lot more difficult than it is without these. So that is kind of one of the downfalls of them. However, with that run flat capability, I mean, how often are you going to be wanting to take your tire off when you're on the trail? That's kind of where it comes in. I thankfully haven't had that problem of having a flat tire while I've had these so far, but it's something to think about. You take your tire, you think you take your tire off along the trail and you realistically you don't. It's pretty rare that you actually have to. So it's doable. If you have a good set of tire levers with you, you can make this happen. So with the install, you do need to add more sealant. That is something I found as I was going through the install process. I don't remember if I covered that much during the install video, but you do have to add more sealant. I don't remember how much they said. I think I put like an extra 2 ounces in each tire that I put them in. And that normally covers essentially getting the sealant through and around that insert and making sure there's enough to still coat the tire and all that. So you do need more sealant. That's kind of one of the things you do need if you're going to be doing this. More sealant. Otherwise, if you had problems sealing up the tire before, you're going to have bigger problems now, is what I found out. If your tubeless setup was kind of iffy before, this is going to figure out all your tubeless problems and show them to you, which is kind of sucky, but good at the same time because it makes your tubeless setup better. So kind of a downfall, but also a plus to them is you figure out your tubeless setup and make it better than it was. If there was a problem with it before that was kind of being just like limped by, these show you that there's a problem is what I found. So we'll get on to one of the biggest things I've seen is People run them just in the rear. People run both front and rear. So what, I mean, do you run both? Do you run individually? They sell these. They sell the Tannus ones individually. You buy them just like this. You get one and one is in a box, and that's how you get them. So do you buy two? Do you buy one? What's the deal with that? And I would say for my Superfly that I've been riding, and really the reason I went with just a rear on my Poseidon Norton, I really only noticed the rear actually benefiting me a lot. And I've noticed that multiple ways. Mainly the biggest ones are sidewall stiffness. I felt as I go around kind of loose corners that the tire will kind of slip and then bite in, which is something that I didn't do before, but because of that stiff sidewall, it tries to slip the sidewall like it used to, and then it catches. And then it grips in because of the insert, which is kind of a nice feeling to have. Along with that, your weight a lot of times is on the rear wheel. That's what gets hit on rocks and curbs and all that while you're riding. Rear wheel gets hit most of the abuse. It's very rare you see someone taco a front wheel. Most of the time it's their rear wheel they taco. So I have definitely noticed the rear wheel being a huge benefit to having a tubeless insert in there. And that's something I will continue to run in there because it's been such a benefit to me. And like I said, that's what I'm running on the Poseidon Norton, which again is kind of my hardtail trail bike that really is going to get beat up pretty good. And this thing loves to run lower pressure, so having 20 psi in the back tire with the tire insert, I don't really have to worry about smashing the wheel when I hit a rock or a curb wrong. I have no problems at all, so it makes it very beneficial to that. Now the front tire, it's just not something I notice very much. For me, the front tire on this actually went on very easily on this one. I don't notice this big of a benefit, and really I think the biggest thing is it's not getting hit as often. You might notice this some in cornering based on the type of tire and wheel and riding style you have. You may notice in cornering as it gives that sidewall more support. But for me personally, in my riding style, I don't feel like the front did much for me. It just was kind of an extra thing in the wheel, and I don't think it's something I'm going to keep. We're actually going to be changing out the tires on the Superfly soon, and when I change the tires, I don't think I'm going to keep the front one in. I think we're going to take the front one out, but we are definitely going to leave the rear one in because that makes a big difference. It's not something you would think you would need until you put it in there. And that's one thing with the Tannus ones is ultimately they're pretty light. It's not something you notice that you have in your tire. The front tire I could feel on this bike, but that's because the tires that are on here, these are like a cross-country race tire. These are the light and fast tires, so they have a very thin sidewall, and they're kind of made to be lighter and higher pressure, and it just didn't feel quite right in the front tire on this. The rear felt okay, the front just didn't quite feel right for me. So for my review on the Tannus Tubeless Pros and really tire inserts as a whole, is they do make a difference. They are something that, if you're looking to do some harder trails, some nice trail riding with rocks and roots and things you potentially could get flat on or smash your wheel into, a tire insert can pretty much save your ride pretty good by not letting you taco your wheel out there. If you do get a flat tire, whatever that may be, this is going to help you get off the trail. Gonna help you shred harder just because of that sidewall support. It's gonna let you shred those corners, lower pressure, not have to worry about burping the bead off your tire, ripping the tire off the wheel, anything like that. You don't have to worry about it. And ultimately, I kind of like these. Like I said, I've only ridden one. This is the first time I've ridden the Tannus Tubeless Pro. They do have the Lite, which is the version that fits inside, as well as the Fusion, so you can, the modular version where you can attach them all together to get even stiffer and a more aggressive tire insert if you're looking to do that. But for people that are looking to ride trails, the Tubeless Pro is a great option to go with. I have not been disappointed. It's something, like I said, keep it in the rear of both these bikes. So I will say, Tannus sent me out the front and rear for the Superfly. I actually went out of my way and bought my own for the Poseidon Norton because I liked the rear one that much. So a big thank you to Tannus for sending me out the tubeless inserts so I could give them a shot, see what I thought of tubeless inserts as a whole, and whether it was something that was worth it, and what I thought of their modular system, their Tubeless Pro system that they have for a tubeless tire. I really like it, works great. If you're looking to check out any of their products, I'm gonna have a link in the description down below. Big thanks to them. If you guys enjoyed the video, or at least found it somewhat entertaining, give this video a big thumbs up. Appreciate the support. Any comments or questions, let me know down in the comment section below. Love talking to you guys. Love answering any questions you guys have. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching today.